Welcome to my grotto at the Chill Factory in Manchester. It's the only grotto in the UK on real snow. It's great pleasure I bring you a very special tale, one that's never been heard before. The Snow Hunters. Now, join me with your families to hear the first reading of Snow Hunters, a Northwest tale inspired by the school children. Firstly, I'd like to thank the children who supported in creating this magical tale. St Catherine's Primary School in Wigan, Garston's Primary School and St Gabriel's Primary School in Liverpool, the Cherry Tree Primary School in Warrington and Shoreside Primary School in Southport. Now sit back, relax and enjoy the magical Northwest Christmas tale, The Snow Hunters. The children were not happy. 8 Christmases had passed without snowfall, and the last time it did snow at Christmas, many of the children were too young to remember it. They could only imagine how magical that snowy Christmas must have been. Year after year, Christmas after Christmas, thousands of children in Greater Manchester, Lancashire, Cheshire, Merseyside and beyond sat in their bedroom staring up at the sky, hoping for snow, but it never came. Children still buzzed with excitement, and the sound of carols could be heard everywhere. Lights still flickered on Christmas trees, and carrots were still left out for the reindeers. But without snow, Christmas could not be perfect. So the children wrote to the Prime Minister. "Dear Prime Minister, where has all the snow gone? And can we have some for Christmas, please?" And the Prime Minister wrote straight back and said, "Dear children, I have no idea where the snow is. Why don't you go and find it? I will send the best snow scientist in the world, Professor Amelia Sarwat, to help you, as well as a snowmobile for you to travel in." And true to her word, the following morning, Professor Amelia Sarwat, the best snow scientist in the world, arrived in a snowmobile to pick up a group of 5 children and their dog called Seamus. The group quickly became known as the Snow Hunters. Now the Snow Hunters, Professor Amelia and Seamus all climbed into the snowmobile, which was when Professor Amelia spoke to the group. "You, like all children, are very special. But you've been chosen to be the Snow Hunters. And your task is to give all children a chance to experience the perfect Christmas. A white, snowy Christmas. But first of all, I'd like to know, what does Christmas mean to you?" Sarah, the eldest and the tallest of the Snow Hunters, spoke first. "I love the presents, opening them slowly, ripping the paper to reveal what you've got as a present." Josie, the youngest Snow Hunter, said, "It's not just about presents though, is it? Yeah, they're important, but what makes me most happy is all my family being together." Paddy, with his bright mop of ginger hair, said, "I love the smell of Christmas, sitting at home on Christmas Eve, closing my eyes and smelling the food coming in from the kitchen. Turkey, roast potatoes and gravy, all sweetened with honey." Isaac was next, and in a very soft voice he said, "I love the singing in the school hall, and all the parents come to see us." The sound of sleigh bells rang out, and the snowmobile, and the children screamed, "It's Santa Claus!" A light flashed on and off in the dashboard, and Professor Amelia said, "It's not Santa, it's the snow phone." She picked up the snow phone and listened carefully. Amelia continued, "That was the snow phone. There are weather forecasters, and they've told us that snow is expected to fall in the Lancashire Hills in 1 hour. We must leave immediately." The snowmobile zoomed down the motorway as fast as it could. On the journey, Isaac turned to the final member of the snow hunters, a small, quiet girl called Mo, and said, "What's your favourite thing about Christmas, Mo?" But Mo didn't reply. She sat quiet, shy and silent. Then Josie spoke up for her. Mo doesn't speak. If she wants to say anything, she writes it on a chalkboard. "Have you brought your chalkboard, Mo?" said Amelia. And from her pocket, little Mo produced a thin piece of chalk and a blackboard the size of a small reading book and smiled. The children cheered as Mo began to write. Chalk dust fell from the board as she scratched away, and when she finished, she slowly turned the chalkboard to reveal the word snow. The snowmobile travelled at great speed, hurtled past the Trafford Centre, over Barton Bridge, the Manchester Ship Canal, and just as they reached Winter Hill, the snowmobile rapidly picked up speed and lifted off the ground. The snowmobile began to fly. The children sat frozen, mouths wide open, and Professor Amelia explained, "Snowflakes are made of tiny pieces of ice that gather around tiny pieces of dust, forming icy crystals in the clouds. We need to look inside a cloud." So the snow hunters spent all morning in and out of clouds, searching for snow, when suddenly Seamus began to bark, and Isaac screamed, "Snow!" One of the clouds was weeping snowflakes like confetti, and the children cheered triumphantly. Professor Amelia shouted, "Wait, let's follow the snowflakes to see if they stick. Sometimes the air in town is too warm and the flakes melt before they land." They followed the snow and watched it slowly cover the hills and mountains of Lancashire. Before long, Winter Hill, Rivington Pike, the Rosendale Valley and the Pennines were covered in snow. "It looks like a Christmas card," said Josie. "It looks like Lapland," said Patrick. "But it's only on the hills and mountains," said Isaac, "and they're too high for children to climb, so it's not like we can play with the snow, is it?" "No, I'm sorry, but it's too warm in town for the snow to stick," said Professor Amelia. The sound of sleigh bells rang out again. The flashing light in the snowmobile flashed on and off. Professor Amelia grabbed the snow phone and listened carefully. "Reports of snow on the rooftops of Cheshire. We have to leave immediately," said Amelia. So once again the snowmobile sped off, darting through the sky, while down below the mums and dads, the aunties and uncles, brothers and sisters were scurrying round to finish off their Christmas shopping. "We're never going to find snow, are we, Professor?" said Isaac. But before she could answer his question, little Mo took out her chalkboard and began writing. Isaac, Josie, Sarah and Seamus all sat staring in silence. Mo showed the snow hunters what she'd written, and it simply said, "Believe." "She's right," said Paddy. "For a truly magical Christmas, we must believe that we're going to find snow, because we are the snow hunters." They arrived in the cold sky, just above Lymm, and while silently gliding over the dam, Professor Amelia pointed down below. "Is that snow on the rooftops of those houses?" she said. Excited cheers rang out again, but they were so far away they couldn't see the snowy rooftops clearly enough. The snowmobile landed, scooped down where the rooftops were white as cotton wool. But when they got closer, Isaac shouted, "That's not snow, it is cotton wool." The whole street glistened. Christmas lights were everywhere, Christmas trees covered in tinsel in every garden, and some of the houses had what appeared to be snow on the roof. "Oh, it's a competition to see who can decorate the house the most festively. It's not real snow, it's fake," said Sarah. The snow hunters stood and stared in disappointment once again. But Mo picked up her chalkboard, lifted it up, and once again it said, "Believe." The sound of sleigh bells rang out for the rest of the day, with rumours of snow in Rochdale, Liverpool, Preston and Manchester. But every time the snow hunters thought they were going to find snow, they failed. Snow could not be found anywhere. So the snowmobile made one final attempt to find snow. They travelled at speed down the M61, past Blackburn and Preston, Horwich, and then climbed up the steep Barton Bridge. When they reached the top, Professor Emerius spoke for the final time. Now, sometimes when things are invisible, we must imagine them. Remember that when I told you you were all special, like all children. You're special because you have the power of imagination. Many grown-ups can't imagine. They've forgotten how to imagine. They're too busy with work and meetings and paying bills. So let's all close our eyes and imagine what the world would look like covered in snow. One by one, the snow hunters closed their eyes and imagined awaking to a white glow of snow. They heard the exciting screams of children playing, making snowballs, building snowmen and scrunching snow underfoot. They could feel the cold on their cheeks. One by one they opened their eyes and the world was covered in snow. They could see the lights of Manchester glowing in the distance. "Look down there," Sarah shouted, and pointed to a huge, peculiar looking building with a steep slope. "It's like a snow factory." They all jumped into the snowmobile and slowly floated down to where children were playing in what looked like snow. "It's not real," said Isaac once again, but little Mo held up a chalkboard. "Believe." "Yeah," said Josie, "Mo's right. You must believe." They entered the building and peered in through the glass, and that's when they saw a winter wonderland. Children on sledges and skis, hurtling what looked like a huge snow mountain. Snowboarders in hoods, goggles and gloves, and smiles, and a grotto surrounded by glistening snow. It's like Lapland. We found it. We found real snow. And so have you. Welcome to the Chill Factory, home of UK's only Santa's Grotto on real snow. Now, I've chosen to make this long journey from the North Pole all the way to Manchester because at the Chill Factory you don't have to imagine anymore. It's real snow.